Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6 as Persia. Just finished the industrial zone in Tarsus. I think I'd like to pick up a very nice workshop here. On the other hand, it would be a good idea to get those medieval walls online because that actually directly gives me tourism. Now, I'm not a fan of having to destroy this nice copper mine tile, but getting this holy site up will net me a little bit of tourism down the line, so I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. The city is starving, so I might have to swap a tile here to prevent that, and there it is. Jerusalem is about to fall. Let's go ahead and rip the walls down with our bombard and then do a nice bit of damage with this guy right here. We'll attack with the cuirassier first, then the regular musketman, and then finally the core musketman. Another heretic to condemn for 25 diplomatic favor, as well as a nice boost to our religious pressure. Let's buy this tile in preparation of putting a Pyradisa on it. That'll help boost along the holy side as well with that chop. Another tasty little Pyradisa over here as well in Susa, although I think it belongs to Pasargadae. Technically it belongs to Susa because it's getting boosted here. I'm tempted to put a holy site right here and then use that to get a nice lattice of these things. It would completely crush all the farms in here, which would be pretty awful. Is there a way that I can do it without disrupting the farms too much? I suppose if I put the holy site on this tile, I would only have to replace this. We will put the holy site here and the Pyradisa right there, and that'll leave some nice farming tiles. More importantly, it'll allow me to put a string of forest here and then put down seaside resorts on the coast, which is another thing that I really want to do. Right, time to plug in James Watt, instantly getting a factory and a very nice workshop, which will give this city quite a bit of extra production. More importantly though, the factories will now also provide +8 production up from +6, and I'll be able to do that again next turn. Not too many great spots for really nice tile improvements over in Taxila, so I guess we'll just kind of have to wing it. Another chop, which will boost out this bombard, and it'll open me up for another Pyradisa over here. So I think we're going to go ahead and do listening post again, because I was informed that it's actually only active while the spy is active, and you can see here, had I activated that, we would be getting the +6 from intel on opponents' movements, which probably would have brought this city down. So I'm going to keep doing that in their capital to keep reaping the benefits of the diplomatic visibility. It's probably better to do that on somebody who doesn't have linguist, because then it'll actually last longer. And we'll go ahead and pick up another artifact, and this one is from Mavemba, which I am perfectly happy about, and we'll be able to pick up one more over here, I believe. Yes, we will. Alright, unfortunately, the Netherlands are denouncing me, but that's not too bad of a move. Right, we finished a factory in Agai. I would like to get the harbour up for the trade route, but the extra production is really appealing to me. The sooner I can get this production online, the better. Grabbed ourselves another bombard. Let's move them up and give them a boost. We're also going to go ahead and purchase ourselves a second bombard. That'll use up all this niter, and then build another one. Well, I don't know if I want to build another one. Yeah, let's build another two to eventually turn these into armies. Right, time to take a promotion on this field cannon. I'll go ahead and take emplacement, so that'll get me towards marksman. And we'll go ahead and bomb this city with the bombard, so that gets a little bit of experience, because I want this guy to level up. And the cuirassier is very close to a level, so I'll go ahead and attack the city with him, and that'll get me a promotion on him. We'll take a little bit of time to heal up on some of these units while we move out. Now, we do have a bit of a loyalty pressure problem, but if we can reassign Magnus into this city, I think that'll make it a little bit easier. I'll also be changing around my government here in a moment too, and that should also help. On the other hand, we could just liberate this. Liberating it would get me 100 diplomatic favor as well as a friendly city-state. It would make any future forays into loyalty on Greece's island much more difficult, but I think it's the right move to do here is to liberate. Probably a good idea to plug Magnus back into Hagmatana. Let's get to work on reworking this banana tile into a very nice lumber mill. Pop down a Paradisa and we get to delete another pin on our way towards getting that nice tourism. Still just need to research flight, but once we have it, it'll be all uphill from there. Downhill? Whatever phrase there makes sense. We'll grab ourselves another Paradisa over here. We're starting to fill out quite a lot of these things, and we'll start to see the yields really climb. I am going to need another builder over here to get this chopped. Oh, and it looks like I actually lost out on this one because this city expanded. I should have bought those tiles. Unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. Let's see if we can't convert Hagmatana with this nice little Inquisitor, and looks like we have, so we're starting to get some really good pressure throughout the map now. Yeah, it's nice to finally see my religion actually, like, existing. And another Netherlands religious unit to condemn, netting me another 25 diplomatic favor. I think we've almost paid it off. I think we're up to 4 now. So really voting for that only cost us 50 diplo favor. It also netted us a whole bunch of negative pressure for Protestantism. Let's see how Hojo feels about buying all of my diplo favor. Looks like he would buy most of it, but he doesn't have enough cash, so I'll just offer him 50 for now. And I suppose in the meantime, I'll give the rest to the Congo because they're my other main opponent this game in terms of culture. So if I can steal any money from them, then it's a good move. Another little Paradisa. I know I'm showing off a lot of these things, but it's good to show them because you get to see how I'm actually developing my empire towards winning a culture victory. I know we don't have a whole lot of tourism right now, but as the turns go on, we will be generating more and more. Gotta kill this little barbarian pikeman over here who has been causing me some minor issues. It's more like I'm just scared to move my builder around while he's here. I suppose at long last, it's probably a good idea to put a 3rd farm in here to make these farms really productive. James Watt, 2nd charge activated, so we just got a workshop and a factory in both of these cities. Now you could argue that because these overlap, it's a bit of an inefficient way to do things, but these cities could really use the production to get them caught up. And importantly now, my factories should provide, once they're powered, an extra 10 production. For some reason, nothing over here is powered. Why is that? Oh, you know what it is? I don't have a coal power plant around here. Well, let's go ahead and fix that problem and purchase the coal power plant in one of these cities. Looks like the best place to purchase it is in Zaranka. It's going to start netting me exactly 6 production, as well as a nice boost to all the energy in the area. So that's a nice little boon for me. All right, city-state emergency with Greece is over. I could piece them out and then declare a surprise war, which would give me a big movement boost. But I think I'm going to keep this war going because I do have grievances against her. If I show you that, you can see here I've got 140 grievances that I can use as a buffer for any aggressive actions. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm also able to claim another great writer, which I'm very happy about. Let's go ahead and get these great writings done. I'll pop them in over here into Pasargadae. Make sure that I move these great works of writing out so that I can place more of them. Looks like I also managed to steal The Prince, which I'm super happy about, because if I can get more and more great works of writing, then I'll be able to not only reduce the amount of tourism or tourism defense that Greece has, but I'll be able to increase my tourism offense. One problem I have here is because I didn't keep the city of Jerusalem, logistically moving my units through this area is going to be a little bit more difficult than it otherwise would have been had I been the owner of the city. Excellent, so we nabbed ourselves another archaeologist, and there are some archaeological sites up here to the north. I'm going to send my archaeologist up here to see if I can nab them. Because I still have plenty in near myself that I'll be able to pick up as more and more of these archaeologists come online. I think I'm also going to invest a little bit of money into Athens to get their archaeological museum online as well as a full archaeologist, because they're not too far from being able to run up here and grab some of these ones. Now, time to start working on the Taj Mahal here in Pella. It'll take about 11 turns and it'll give us an awful lot of era score if we can manage to pull it off. Also grab myself an archaeological museum over here in Gordian, so let's get to work on the archaeologist. Just trying to get as many of these great works as I can before the AI snatches them up. And the reason I'm focusing on archaeologists so much is because I'm not really going to be able to do anything else with them. I'm not going to be able to get many great works of art because most of them have already gone. I will be able to get some, and it's definitely worth it to spend a bit of time working on that. But in the sort of short to medium term, the best thing to work on is archaeologists. Right, I don't really plan on building much more of an army, and this is usually around the time I would plug in military research to get the extra science, but I never built Renaissance walls this game. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm still researching them. Yeah, so I don't think there's much point plugging in military research, even if this is the card that I would like to have plugged in. Instead, I'm just going to plug in skyscrapers because that's going to give me a 15% production towards wonders. And I guess I'll also plug in aesthetics just to get that little bit of extra culture. It really wasn't that much, so I'll probably replace that card once I have mass media. I really do wish you could filter this list to see which great people have gone and which you can pick up. Alright, so Sam over here has leveled up. I'm going to go ahead and take Technologist. That's one of the missions I'm more likely to run compared to the other upgrades that he had. Oh no, I accidentally removed the jungle when I'd meant to remove the bananas. You got to be careful when you're doing that sort of thing. I'd wanted to put a lumber mill here. I guess I'll just harvest both and plug in a, whatever these things are called, the Paradisa. See if we can't convert the city of Sparta And there we go, another city follows my religion. Get a trade route with Zanzibar, that'll give me an envoy as well as a nice chunk of gold. Need 2 more envoys with Zanzibar. I called them envoys there a second ago. Yeah, but if I can get 2 more with them, I'll get a nice amount of amenities from them. It's 12 total amenities, which would be very nice because I think a lot of my cities are actually suffering here from a lack of amenities. You can see very many of them are displeased. And that's because our arenas and stuff have been delayed. Most of the delays in this particular game that we're playing are really just down to the fact that we got into a war so early into the game. Another little Paradisa for myself. That'll eventually be boosted up to be something truly useful. I'd also like to properly improve this coal with a mine if I could. And to that end, I think Taj Mahal, as much as I want to get it, I want to be ready to build a Cristo Redentor. So what I'm going to do is instead I'm going to get 2 builders out of this city instead of the Taj Mahal, just because the Cristo Redentor takes a much higher priority. I'd also like to grab Broadway if I could. In particular, I'd love to grab it in my capital if I could. That would be incredible. Another little artifact for myself. I'll take a Barbarian artifact this time, and now that we have a couple of these guys filled out, let's see, can we make something happen? So far, we've got 2 unique medieval artifacts up here in Susa. I do have another classical artifact. Oh, that will theme Pasargadae. So we've got 1 fully themed museum now. We have 1 more medieval artifact of some kind will theme Susa as well. And what's really nice about that is it actually gave me the boost for cultural heritage here, which is something I want to pick up for multiple reasons. One of them being that it'll reveal shipwrecks, which are something that I can also get artifacts from. The very nice thing about completing this emergency is I now get +1 gold for each of my envoys for basically the rest of the game. You can see it there down the bottom of this massive list of my income, plus 36 gold from envoys. It's only about 10% of my positive income and about 10% of my total income, really. Oh, sorry, not 10% of my total income. It's only a very small percentage of my income, but 36 gold that will scale throughout the rest of the game is fairly reasonable. I'm also going to pick myself up another Barbarian artifact, and it's a medieval one. Excellent. And since that is another medieval artifact, I'll be able to plug that into Susa and get a second themed museum. Renaissance walls is finished, so that's going to be something that we focus on in an awful lot of cities. As much as I want this coal power plant and I want to build the aqueduct and all that sort of stuff, I think it's important to get these walls up because these are the thing that directly give me tourism right now. And I need to start generating as much tourism as possible. The exception here, of course, is perhaps Shizuoka, which has basically no production. Although if I can get an industrial zone going in this area, and I almost have one, and I can get it built up maybe by saving gold and investing in it, I'll be able to get this up pretty quick. So we'll start working on walls. See if we can steal the tail of Genji from Knossos. Feels bad that I had to completely harvest this tile, but it wasn't what I wanted to do, I will say that. I have enough faith now to get ourselves another Inquisitor. Now there is an argument to be made, maybe saving up for some sort of national park, for example, down here in the Pantanal. I think that is a good argument, and you could make that argument, and I would agree with you in a lot of cases. But I think for now it's important to just have my religion be spread because it is actually netting me quite a bit of production. For example, if you see here in the capital, I'm getting about 5.2 production, which is about 8%. It's not a huge amount by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a fair little boost that kind of counteracts negative amenities at the very least. Finally get rid of this pikeman. Hopefully there's no enemy barbarian boats hiding in the fog of war to cause me more troubles. I'm going to start planting some woods here because this will eventually become a whole bunch of woods around here for the purpose of what's the word? Seaside resorting, this coastline right here. You could make the same argument along with these 2 guys. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to do. Well, actually, with the inclusion of these things, it might be what we do in the late game. I'm going to want to have my harbors up, though, if I do that, so these cities can feed themselves from water tiles. Another great work of writing for my collection. Wonderful. We're up to about 100 tourism per turn. I'm curious if I've actually earned any tourists yet. And it looks like we are currently still at 0, but we have to be getting close to getting our first set of tourists, so I'm not too worried about it. Mavemba's starting to become a little bit of a problem, but Gorgo, I think I've started to hurt her culture income. At the very least, it hasn't been going up, which is a good sign. I got hit by a major drought, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm going to tell him to renew this diplomatic visibility mission. Didn't really do a whole lot of damage to this city, it just means it's going to grow a bit slower, which I'm not a fan of. Right, lovely, we get our very first great artist actually here, and that means I'm going to want to try to find a theatre square that has room for a great art museum. It looks like Sparta over here is the prime candidate. Obviously art museums aren't as efficient as archaeological museums. In fact, I'm questioning whether or not I want that artwork at all. maybe it's better just to hold it for Hermitage, because I really do think archaeological museums are better, especially if I can get the particular great scientist that I'm really looking for. There's one that gives you a huge boost to your archaeological tourism. Yeah, I'm just gonna primarily focus and gamble on getting that, because I think archaeologists are just better. So we're going to focus very hard on getting those. Right, time to get more Renaissance walls up here. Once we have our artifact creator, the great archaeologist, just medieval walls in here, of course, are also what we want. More just raw tourism for my ability to attack my enemies with my tourism. Tourism war, yay! Little paradisa right here. It wasn't where I had intended to put one, but I guess it's where one goes now. See if we can get Halicarnassus converted, and there it is, lovely. So I definitely think a few little paradisas around the city makes sense. The city doesn't really need to have a whole lot of production, but getting a nice little bit of culture from these as well would be pretty nice. Kind of trying to scout out the Netherlands to look for more things to pillage. She hates my guts though, so she won't give me open borders, which is a bit unfortunate. Looks like Hojo would like to buy some of my coal, since I'm at my cap of coal anyway. I was at 90 out of 90, so there's no point keeping an excess around if I still have positive income. And I do have another source of coal that I could exploit. I think I am going to go ahead and get that online as well. No sense not putting a lumber mill here. It'll give me another production tile. Tempted to hand this over to Susa, because Susa really lacks for productive tiles right now. Yeah, I think Susa's just lacking a bit of production, so I'll slap that in there. Chop out this forest for another Pyrodisa, and hopefully finish these medieval walls a little bit quicker too. Up to 112 tourism, which is starting to look a bit respectable. Still getting a bunch of money from different places. Right, let's go ahead and pop down another Pyrodisa here and delete this pin. Renaissance walls on the way in back 3. One more bombard, please. I would like that. Oh, I don't have enough niter. I think I could get the archaeologist in here too. Let's do it. Now, there's enough great works up here for, it looks like 3 archaeologists, and I've already sent one. Now, where's the other one I was sending this way? That's this guy. So I'm going to send my 3rd one up here as well. So I'm sending 3 total archaeologists up here to Japan's island to steal all of his great works. And I think that basically covers all of the international artifacts that I wanted to pick up. So now I'm just going to focus on picking up the ones inside my borders. Renaissance walls and Halicarnassus as well, because that's worth 3 tourism per turn. Take a step forward with the bombard, the field cannon rather, and shoot their field cannon and see if we can't finish it off with our cuirassier. Bringing up a lot of units, and it's going to take a bit of time before our full army can get through. I would like to click on this bombard, please. Sometimes the UI is just a little bit disagreeable. But yeah, I definitely would like to get a little bit closer to Knossos and stuff like that. I should be able to, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep these cities, but I definitely feel like I can just kind of go through, completely pillage everything, destroy every district, basically essentially rip the entire city asunder, rather than try to hold it. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that I should maybe try to hold them, but at the very least, I'm going to pillage everything and murder everything in here so that they get less value from this city. Right, let's trade with Amsterdam, because that is the best place to trade in terms of gold income. And we can start stealing more gold from the Congo. Slap down a nice Pyrodisa here in Taxila. Now, it is only +2 culture per turn, but that's a pretty reasonable amount of culture per turn, as well as gold production and food from that tile. More importantly, once we get flight, like I've been talking about, which is going to be the thing that we go for after steam power, it'll start netting us an awful lot of tourism. Although I do have to get through an awful lot of the tech tree as well before I can get there. Right, so there we go. We have unlocked Broadway, Propaganda, and the Cristo Redentor. And that means over here in Pella, we're going to want to get started on the Cristo Redentor. Now, where do I want to place it? You know what? If I place it over here, and then I eventually place this city's theater square there, I'd get quite a bit of value out of it. So I'm okay with that move. In fact, let's go ahead and get that process started. Oh, I can't build another district in here. That's a bit unfortunate. Anyway, let's get another mine down. That'll be +4 production for Pella, and we'll go ahead and get this one down as well. Take about 16 turns. Now, I might use Filippo for this, but I'm also considering saving him for building the Eiffel Tower. That one can be a little bit more tricky to get. Nobody's building it just yet, but it's definitely on my mind. And I want to try to finish building all my walls before I go for the Eiffel Tower, because once you research the steel technology, you can't build walls anymore. I've got a couple of choices here that I could go for. I could go for cultural heritage to unlock more shipwrecks, but I think it's far better just to go for my suffrage democracy government type, which will is the best type of government if you want to be going for any sort of cultural victory, in my opinion, because it gets the least amount of tourism pressure penalty. That's kind of a complicated mechanic that I don't know the numbers on, but just trust me when I say the other governments have some major penalties to their tourism. All right, we got our very first great musician, which is handy because we are getting pretty close to building broadcast centers. And you know, Susa is missing out on a lot of production simply because it doesn't have a factory or a coal power plant. So let's go ahead and nab both of those, and that'll bring this city up to about 50 production per turn, which will bring the amount of turns on this hermitage down to about 17, which is a nice little boost. Tell the city to focus on food and production to see if that works out nicely for me. In fact, if I fully focus on production, it would build this a turn sooner, but it would grow much slower, so I think I'll focus on food and production. Took a pretty hefty hit from some of these field cannons, so let's go ahead and very carefully pillage for health and see if we can't kill this one here. Although I'm a little bit worried. Japan, why you gotta stand there and be annoying? Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about getting murdered if I'm not fully on board and in position to really kill those guys. So I think I'll just take a moment here, maybe do a little bit more pillaging, see if Japan will move that great general and so on. Another Paradisa in Halicarnassus, bringing up the total to 2, as well as another one over here that will eventually get a nice benefit from. Looking pretty good over here in Halicarnassus in terms of just generally production and everything else. A little bit of a food problem, so I might have to start swapping a few tiles to help this city out. Maybe even buying this chocolate tile over here will help out, at least trying to keep the food level neutral. I guess I'll go ahead and create another great work of music. Well, not another one, but my very first one in here. Great works of music are quite valuable. The other thing that I'm thinking is if I do pick up heritage tourism, I would get 100% tourism from great works of art and artifacts. Now, I do have an awful lot of them, but the question is, would that be better than the card that I have in right now? And in fact, it would be a lot better than aesthetics. So I think I am going to prioritize getting cultural heritage online. Another thing that I need to start building are neighborhoods. I need to particularly search out tiles that are what I would call dead tiles. These are tiles that have no capacity to generate tourism for me, because once you build a neighborhood, if you go up into the capitalism civic here, you can actually start building shopping malls, which will give you +4 tourism, as well as some extra amenities. And don't forget, amenities are something that I'm a little bit lacking of. Excuse me, I hiccuped while I was talking there. So there is steam power. We can start building railroads, and I will go ahead. Oh, Cyrus has been the target of a aid thingy, so I got a bunch of money out of that. That was me. So now that I have the military engineer ability to make railroads, I'll probably get 1 or 2 of these and just kind of send them out to connect my cities up with railroads. More Renaissance walls, of course. And the industrial zone was completed up here, and I'll start purchasing my way up to a better one. It'll take a little bit of time, but once I have a bit more cash, it'll work out for me. I've got 2 envoys to play with, and I'll plug them into Zanzibar because that's going to net me quite a bit of amenities to help with my amenity problems. And I'm going to start promoting Pingala up to curator as well now, so I start getting more value from the great works of art, music and writing in the capital city. I'm facing a bit of a dilemma. I've got an awful lot of these field cannon armies hanging around, and I don't really have the muscle kind of coming through this gap to fight them. So what I might do is I might just step back a tile while I wait for my 2 own field cannons that have promotions to get up here to start dealing with these, because otherwise I'm going to start losing them left, right and center. His choke point is being a little bit more of a hassle than I had hoped, but I'm sure we can figure it out. Alrighty, just about to steal my first great work from Japan. I'm sure they'll be very appreciative. Hey, I get a coupe silver coin, which I was not expecting. I mean, technically I'm stealing from Coupe, but you know what I meant. All of this area is basically Japan's, right? Oh, I made a bit of a derp moment here. I thought I could put a Paradisa here. Apparently I can't. Well, you know what that does? That makes that a perfect tile for a neighborhood in my capital city. Let's go ahead and build that after these builders. Well, I think maybe we'll prioritize it because this city could use a bit of housing to grow a little bit quicker. Slap a Paradisa on that hill and then go ahead and see if we can start filling out some of these Paradisa tiles that I've got marked out. I think I'd also like to put a Paradisa down right here beside these seaside resorts because they do increase appeal. In fact, if I were to go to my appeal map mode, you can see the appeal of my empire is pretty high around these Paradisas. It gives quite a bit of appeal. Now my appeal is also pretty low because I've got a lot of jungle and industrial zones and stuff like that. But for example, if you look around here, the appeal is actually quite high. In fact, there could be a national park right here at some later date once I have enough faith saved up. And speaking of faith, actually, I think we were going to do a little bit of an experiment here to see if it's worth it to evangelize my religion. Now, I normally don't do this, and I'm going to just kind of do it to show why I don't do it. Now, Coupe doesn't have any more archaeological works that I care about inside his borders, so I am going to tell him that I'll move my guys away. Of course, we will continue renewing this diplomatic visibility mission, and something very, very important has happened here. All of the field cannons have moved outside of the city. So let's step forward with both of my field cannons and see if we can't start getting a few kills. Very nice. We just got a field cannon kill. Now this guy should, in theory, survive any shenanigans that goes on. I'm going to pillage with this musketman to keep him nice and healthy, and then see if I can't do some damage with this guy. It's highly likely that I maybe lose a unit or two as I fight these guys, but once I can bring my bombard to bear, it'll get much easier. I think Arabia is also trying to cross the ocean here with a few units that'll help distract the Greeks. Get ourselves another artifact, and I will take an Alexander artifact. It's from the ancient era. Maybe useful, maybe not. I would love to pillage this apostle, but unfortunately there is an Arabian pike and shot standing on it. But I did get myself an apostle. Let's go ahead and evangelize a belief and see what's available. So if we look at all of these available beliefs, there's not very many good ones left in a normal game. For example, tithe is the only real one of these beliefs that I would ever consider. None of them actually give me a way to generate more faith, which is what I really, really want. I mean, I guess you could say that these ones do give me a way to generate more faith, but it's kind of, I have to like invest a lot in these, whereas I would like something that just gave me a bit more faith, you know what I mean? On the other hand, getting an extra amenity here from Stupas would be pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and pick up tithe, and I probably will evangelize again once I have enough. Now you can see here, we're only picking up 12.6 gold from beliefs. Now, if I had church property, which gives you +2 gold per city, I would be picking up 18 gold. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I would be picking up 18 gold, which would have been an awful lot better than the 12 we're getting from tithe. And this is already super into the late game, so hopefully that kind of shows people why I think tithe is one of the worst beliefs. In fact, I think the only thing really needed to make it better is if it was +1 gold for every 3 followers of this religion. Unfortunately, a natural disaster did roll through my capital, which is going to cause me some issues, but it's not the end of the world. I'll just have to do a little bit of repair work. It does offer me an opportunity, though, to start harvesting this stuff, and it did also cripple my population, which is far from ideal, but we'll be transitioning away from this and we're getting neighborhoods and stuff like that. It killed my aqueduct. God damn. Oh, wow. It actually killed a lot of my city. Let's spend a bit of time doing some repair work on this city. Time to start building railroads. Right, there is cultural heritage and the Sydney Opera House, which is something that I will maybe want to build if I can. More importantly, though, I can pop out this aesthetics card and plug in heritage tourism, which is going to be far more useful and will net me quite a bit of tourism. We're up to 138 tourism per turn, which isn't amazing, don't get me wrong, but it is a far cry better than what we started with, and we're already up to our very first 5 tourists, which is a good sign, right? You know, we're working towards this goal, and now we finally have a little bit. We got started very late on this victory condition, so again, it's going to be a very slow win, but it will be a win. I'll take another Coupe artifact, actually, because I don't have many opportunities to get Coupe artifacts. We'll also get to work on capitalism to be able to pick up shopping malls, although that might be a little bit later in the game. I think I'm going to work towards ideology. A guy finished a coal power plant, and I think it's time to start building walls to get the full benefit from the tourism from those walls. Similar sort of story over here in Zranka. Walls, 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 walls. Oh, it looks like they built another field cannon in this city over here. That's a bit of a problem, considering it's inside an encampment. Anyway, let's keep the units moving and shooting all the bad guys who are in my way. Looks like we found an awful lot of shipwrecks over here in between Japan and Greece. I'm not seeing a whole lot of them anywhere else. There's a couple over here, for example, but I think the majority of them, there's one down here as well. Oh wow, an independent city. I'm not sure who that, maybe that was a Maori city? that flipped to Arabia. But yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot of these shipwrecks. There's a couple scattered around. It seems like the majority of them, though, are over here in between Greece and Japan, which is quite good because I can send more archaeologists this way if I want to. I suppose it's probably a good idea to maybe see if we can recruit some partisans here. It will take 6 turns, which will take an awful long time. Although having said that, that will recruit them on my side of the city, so I'm going to cancel that order. I'm going to see if I can take down this encampment because I can't have a unit sitting in here shooting me. I found you, little apostle. Thank you for the 25 diplomatic favor, as well as the lovely, lovely religion pressure. Japan, how's your economy? What kind of money have you got? You got 45 gold per turn. I think you would buy like 44 of these. Let's go to 40 and then just equitable. There you go. Thank you very much. Keep harvesting in here so we can get more Pyradises, as well as harvesting more artifacts. It looks like this one will be a Cyrus artifact. Lovely. Haven't got many of my Cyrus artifacts, so I am going to want to start picking up a few of those, and that'll actually quickly repair this as I get another Pyradisa down here. Tempted to put a farm back in here, but I think I'm just going to go woods and lumber mill. Right, I suppose we'll get the railroad all the way down to Pella first. And I'm kind of tempted to purchase another military engineer, but I really need to buy the factory and the coal power plant over here in Sahir-i-Quims. That's going to be pretty important to providing production in this local area. Another mine for Pella. Looks like the city is making almost 100 production per turn, so it's building the Cristo Redentor incredibly quickly. I'd love if units stopped standing on this tile so I can actually use Filippo. Right, let's get ourselves a mine in here in Pushkalevki, which will give it a little bit of production. And I also need to repair this stuff over here too. Am I crazy, or does these olives look like they're pillaged? Am I nuts? I feel like, I don't know. I just can't tell anymore. Whether things are pillaged or whether I'm nuts. Sort of re-examining this. Yeah, no, there isn't really a better Paradisa position than this one. Alright, we'll pop a Paradisa down here in Susa. Starting to get this city its own Paradises. We're not too far away from flight, still working our way there. Japan is asking me to move my archaeologists. I'm going to tell him no, and I will refuse the Netherlands' demands. Still making demands over the facts that I killed a couple of our cities. Right, Knossos is heavily defended. Let's see if we can take out this encampment this turn, because it's being a bit of a thorn in my side. I need a unit that can hit it in melee, which I do not have right now, which really sucks. No big deal, we'll take it out next turn. Right, we fully finished the Renaissance walls over here in Hagmatana. Would love to get this stuff repaired, but I think the priority here is to just get this holy site online, and I'm not even going to bother going for the chop. I don't even need to really do anything with the holy site. I just need to get it online so that it boosts a couple of Pyradises. And in fact, it's probably a good idea to get a builder here first, because this city definitely needs a little bit more builder improvement. So I'll get 2 builders in here before I build the holy site. Grab ourselves another couple of archaeological great works over here as we bring the horde of Han Solos, aka Indiana Jones, over here. Just like to mix and match my fandoms. I think I'm going to promote Sam and then get him out of this city, because I don't think he's really doing a whole lot of work here for me anymore. I'll take surveillance. It's a generally useful promotion. Start shooting this city now. We're doing a little bit of damage. Need to get these guys all in around it. Just this encampment is causing me a bit of an issue. More and more artifacts. I will take a Cyrus artifact. How are we looking on the theming front? So for a guy, I need a medieval artifact that is not either Saladin or Movember. Hey, there we go. We got a medieval, it's a medieval artifact by Coupe, but I can't actually move it yet until I fill this archaeological museum. That's a bit unfortunate. Maybe I can get a classical or ancient one going. Hey, we got an ancient era artifact from the barbarians here, which is going to boost the Sparta museum. Wonderful. Go ahead and grab ourselves a Pyradisa and then delete this pin. Pop down a lumber mill here in the capital as well, looking good. Let's keep the railroad going. I love seeing the little graphic appear. That was one of my favorite things back in Civ 4, where you would like just fill the map with railroads and it would just kind of look really goofy. Man, I'm not sure if it's worth it. It's only 3 turns worth of production, and I'm not under threat of losing the Cristo Redentor. Yeah, I'm the only one building it, so until I feel like I'm under threat of losing a wonder, I don't like to use these guys. Every now and again, I just like look across my empire for a little orange mark like this that is a Netherlands apostle so that I can pillage it. Finally got this coal mine online. Now we should be making about 12 coal per turn, which is an awful lot of it, which means I'm basically able to run all of these power plants that I want. Now, not every city in my empire has power or needs power. In particular, I'd love to get power up and around here. It is getting a decent amount of production from this factory, but it could be getting more. Right, there's the Patala Palace and Scorched Earth. More importantly, I think we can finally, if we do a little bit of finagling and shooting, we can shoot this and then kill it with this cuirassier. That'll kill this encampment. We'll take a pillage on this guy to get him healed back up. We'll get this bombard in range of the city for next turn. And we need to take this guy out if we can. So we'll take 1 shot, 2 shots, and now he's dead. Excellent. Then we'll take a 3rd shot on this. I'd love to get a heal on this guy. It's unlikely that I will. So maybe I could just run him away. Yeah, I don't think running away is going to work, so I'll just gamble on being able to heal next turn on this tile, and maybe this guy will choose to shoot someone else with whatever units he has in the area. Anyway, time to move this spy away. Put him down in Pharsalos. Maybe I can do a couple of tech steals in here as well. Time to work on medieval walls in Agai. I have no idea how to pronounce that. And medieval walls over here as well. Looks like the archaeologist has popped out just here. Again, I'm going to send these guys out to the far distant lands to pick up the harder to get archaeological dig sites first. I think that's an important thing to do when you have this many cities and this many potential archaeological museums. Renaissance walls in Sparta, starting to look pretty attractive. Oh, you're going to have to escape on foot. Unfortunately, my spy was killed. I'm going to have to rebuild them. Yeah, but it's starting to look pretty attractive to maybe plug in that... where is it? The military research card. And I don't need drill manuals right now because I'm making 12 coal per turn and I'm only spending 6. So if I plug in military research, that'll just net me a tiny amount of science right now. But as I finish more and more of these Renaissance walls, it'll start stacking up to be actually a fairly reasonable bonus. And science right now is a pretty big bottleneck for me because I need to get to flight, I need to get to radio, I need to get to computers, and I need to get down here to steel. And so... any little bit of science I can pick up will make that a lot easier. Alright, Mavemba is upset that I use spies against him. I'm going to tell him that I can't promise to not use spies against him. I will have to renew my friendship with Coupe, actually. Let's go ahead and declare friendship with him. First things first, get open borders and extort a tiny bit of cash out of him, and then get an alliance. It'll be a religious one, and extort another tiny little bit of cash out of him. Lumber mill here for Pella. Just trying to pick up as much production in here as possible, so that we can finish off this wonder. Time for more Pyradises over here in Zranka, and these are pretty good ones. They're going to net me 3 tourism once I have flight. Alright, excavate artifact up here, and I'll grab a Hojo artifact. I got no choice in the matter. But what that does mean is that the thing over here should be able to move this Coupe artifact over to there and theme another museum. So I've got 3 themed museums. I'm up to 219 tourism per turn. I'm actually curious, what did I even start off with this episode? I'm up to 6 tourists now. And we haven't quite cut into Gorgo's culture per turn. But as we cut into it, it'll start looking much nicer. Go ahead and increasing my diplomatic visibility. Now, the little musketman that could actually survived over here. So we'll go ahead and pillage for health. And then we can start doing some serious damage to this city now that our bombards are up in position. Get this pike and shot swung around too. I might want to pillage all of this stuff, although on the other hand it's also worth it maybe to keep it around. But anyway, let's start bombarding the city proper. There we go, first attack. You have a promotion. I'm going to take the garrison promotion on you, and I'll take the emplacement promotion on you. Getting promotions is important, but probably not the most important thing right now. I also really want to get this double shot field cannon core up, so I might start moving some units around and shuffling. I'm going to skip Ada Lovelace to let someone else pick her up because she's not important to my plans. She's not a particularly good one, and usually the one who comes after Ada Lovelace is much more useful. With regards to Halicarnassus, this is where I'd planned to put a Paradisa. I think it got hit by a storm and got removed, so we'll put that pin back down here. That's a tribal village, that's not what I wanted. I put these pins down, for example, like so. I'll be able to put a theater square here in the center and get myself some really nice Paradisas. It will mean that I have to pull this Paradisa up and essentially have a dead tile that'll probably become a neighborhood, for example. It's not the end of the world. Industrial zone completed here in Pushkilavati. Let's get to work on the medieval walls. We'll almost have enough money to buy the coal power plant up here in Sahir-e-Quims, which will net us a lot of production. Ah, lovely. You love to see it. My religion is starting to assert itself and start to passively convert cities. Very, very slowly, mind you. But it is starting to convert some cities, and we'll be able to start filling that out once I also evangelize my religion one more time to get a little bit more faith gain. Another railroad for me old chums. This is, wait, this railroad, hold on. So you come along on the train, and then your train, like, magically teleports around in a different direction, comes around this way, teleports over to this piece of the track, splits like the double slit experiment, goes down both tracks at the same time, turns into a car, and then takes you to Tushpa. Lovely. I like this kind of railroad. As much as I want to save money, I will go ahead and purchase this tile for the extra Paradisa up here. I've got a lot of tile improvements in general to do in certain areas of my empire, but it's starting to look, a lot of the pins are starting to go away, right? And that's a good sign. It means we're actually building the things that we'd planned to. I'm kind of getting light on builders, which is a bit of a problem, so I need to identify somewhere that I can maybe spam out a whole bunch of builders. I was planning on doing that in Halicarnassus, but that's not really the way I'm going at the moment. Anyway, that's that. It is taking quite a while to get through each of these episodes, but I love you all very much. I hope you guys are enjoying this different style, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Love you all very much, and bye-bye.